All right, let's get right into it. Think about that feeling. You know the one. You've hit a huge goal, you've accomplished something big, and you think, okay, I've earned a break. But what if I told you that exact moment, that feeling of satisfaction, is actually the most dangerous place you can be? We're about to unpack a really powerful idea from David Goggins' book, Never Finished. The belief that the biggest danger in your life isn't failing, it's thinking you're done. This right here, this is the core of the entire philosophy. It's a huge warning sign against that comfortable, cozy feeling of being done. So how do we fight it? Well, the never finished mindset is basically a battle plan, and it's built on three key ideas: waging an all-out war on comfort, taking control of the battlefield inside your own head, and building a system of discipline that just doesn't quit. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the number one enemy of your potential. And it's probably not what you think. It's not your job, it's not your situation, it's comfort. It sneaks in when everything feels like it's finally going your way. Goggins calls comfort the sweet poison. And man, is that the perfect way to describe it? It feels good, right? It's safe, it's predictable. But while you're kicking back and enjoying that security, it's quietly putting your ambition to sleep. Think about it. When do you actually grow? When you're tested. And the whole point of comfort is to make sure you never have to face a test. And this really breaks it down, doesn't it? The choice we all have every single day. Look at the comfort zone. It's easy, it's predictable, but it's also where you stagnate. Nothing new happens there. All the breakthroughs, every single bit of real progress you've ever made in your life happened over in that growth zone. And yeah, it was uncomfortable, it was painful. That little voice in your head was probably screaming, "Hey, that's enough. Let's go back where it's safe." The key is learning to tell that voice to shut up. So the big takeaway here is that growth isn't something that just happens to you. It's an active choice. You have to wake up and decide to seek out the challenge, to pick the harder path. And that feeling of discomfort, that's not a stop sign. It's actually the opposite. It's a massive, flashing green light telling you that you're heading in exactly the right direction. All right, so we've identified the external enemy, comfort. But now we've got to go deeper. We're shifting to the internal battlefield, your own mind. Because this right here is where the real fight for your potential is won or lost. So let me ask you this, and be honest with yourself. What gives up first, your body or your mind? The last time you quit, the last time you said, "I just can't," was your body truly at its absolute limit? Or was it your mind just telling you a convincing story to get you to stop? And here's the tricky part. Your mind's number one job is to keep you safe. It's a survival machine. But when you're trying to grow, when you're chasing greatness, safe is the biggest trap there is. So the second you start pushing yourself and feel that pain, your mind freaks out. It sends this blaring alarm signal screaming, "Stop, quit, go back to the couch." But here's the secret. That alarm isn't signaling real danger. It's just signaling discomfort. So how do you actually fight back against your own brain? Well, the good news is mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's a skill you can build. Step one, you have to recognize that voice telling you to quit is just a false alarm. It's not real. Step two, you have to consciously push right through that feeling. Just one more rep, just one more minute. And step three, that's where you build the toughness. Every single time you ignore that false alarm, you're forging mental armor. You're literally rewiring your brain to understand who's really in charge. And look, this mental armor, you don't get it from reading a book or listening to a talk. It is forged in the fire of hardship. It's built on those lonely nights, through all your failures, in those moments where you wanted to give up more than anything. The strongest people out there don't have easy lives, not at all. They're the ones who've learned how to take suffering and turn it into a tool. This is such a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of running from pain, you start to see it as your trainer. It's not your enemy anymore. Every single hardship you push through, every challenge you overcome, it just adds another layer to that armor. You do that enough times, and eventually you become unbreakable. Life can throw whatever it wants at you, and it just won't matter. Okay, so we've declared war on comfort. We're learning to master our own minds. But a mindset without action is, well, it's useless. And that brings us to the engine that drives it all. The system that guarantees you'll keep going long-term, discipline. And this is maybe one of the most important distinctions you can ever make. We all love motivation, right? That feeling of inspiration, that jolt of energy. But motivation is like a fair weather friend. It shows up when things are exciting, but it's nowhere to be found on those cold, rainy mornings when you just don't feel like it. Discipline, on the other hand, that's the system. That's the bedrock. It's there every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Motivation starts the race. Discipline finishes. And that's really the core of it, right there. Discipline is just doing what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left. Your feelings don't get a say. They don't get a vote. It doesn't matter if you're tired or sad or uninspired, the work still gets done. Period. So how do you fuel that discipline? It comes from holding yourself to a higher standard. Think of this as your personal code of conduct. No excuses. Ever. You take total responsibility for everything. Always. You give your absolute best effort every single time. And you understand that what you do is who you are, not what you plan to do. It's a non-negotiable contract with yourself. And what's so powerful about this is that your internal standards literally create your external reality. The world takes you as seriously as you take yourself. When you raise your standards, when you refuse to accept mediocrity from yourself, life has no choice but to respond. You start attracting better opportunities, better people, better results. So as we start to land the plane here, it's so important to get this one thing. This isn't just a cool philosophy to think about. It's not a theory. It is a daily decision. Every single thing we've talked about, fighting comfort, mastering your mind, living with discipline, it all comes down to the choices you make every single day, especially when nobody's watching. And that leaves us with one final and maybe the most important question you can ask yourself. What is your real limit? Seriously, are the limits you've accepted for yourself real, or are they just comfortable stories you've been telling yourself? The entire never-finished philosophy is built on the belief that you are capable of so much more than you think. The only question left is, are you willing to go through the discomfort to find out what that is?